hands and something you can flip the pages of. That doesn't necessarily mean that everyone is going to instantly stop buying the physical ones, because personally I prefer having graphic novels that I can put on my shelf. I hate having the floppies, but at the same time, I like, reading on a monthly basis, and don't want to have to wait half a year for a trade to be released, and sometimes never gets released at all. But this also is helpful for people overseas that don't have local comic book stores, rural areas that with comic books, but the closest one is at best an hour away. This is going to be helpful on a lot of levels, and I think in the long run, you need to change or die. And I think it's good that they're finally embracing this strategy. Now, pricing is going to be interesting. I can't recall if they've ever announced what the prices for the comic books are going to be or not.
I read somewhere, I don't know if it was an official thing from DC or some speculative article, but that they would be about half the price of the regular book.
Therefore, about 50 still seems a bit much in my opinion, but
what are you going to do? There's also a side to this as well that I don't think DC's seeing. For one thing, it's a side that they never would have gotten a chunk of anyway, and that's the collector's market. Less copies of, say, the new Batman is just going to drive up the collector's market 10 years from now and make that worth more, or at least be charged more, because there's going to be fewer copies out there. Because that digital copy's not going to be worth anymore.
It's laughable to suggest that the speculator market will make a big booming return again, and if it does, it'll just crash and burn once again because it's just not worth it. The value of individual comics may go up again, but not by much.
Well, I didn't mean the speculator market. I mean just 10 years from now, I find I'm missing Batman 842, and before, say, there were 1 million copies out there, now there's only 250,000. It's going to be that much harder for me to find that copy of that Batman issue that I'm looking for my collection.
Perhaps.
At least that's the way I look at it.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because I come at it from a different mindset, because I hate when people call me a comic book collector, because I don't buy comics to collect them. I buy them to read them. I'm in it for the story. I mean, no one says that I collect TV shows when I watch them.
Well, see, I also read. I've read every comic that I have. I mean, other than obviously the stack of to-read stuff. You know what I mean. In general,
yeah.
I read what I buy. But I also consider myself a collector because I still want it in good shape. I want it to look nice. But here's the real thing, and this is with me as a collector. I also collect video games and role-playing games and movie posters and that. I collect them for me. I'm probably never going to sell these things unless I get so destitute that I need to survive. So there's no speculation involved of going, ooh, that's worth a lot of money. It's, ooh, I want that. To me, there's a difference in that kind of the word collector there.
I suppose so.
Because to me, my comic book collection is stuff I don't want to get rid of. I buy it because it looks cool. If it sucks, okay, then I go and sell it. And I've done that a lot with especially Marvel and DC stuff over the last 10 years. A lot of my collection is weird stuff that I'm lucky that I found in the first place. I'm probably never going to find another copy for 25 cents at some hole-in-the-wall comic book store that no one's heard of in 20 years.
And that is fair enough. But what about the people who don't have ready access and are just, trying to get access to books, but they can't because, they don't have access to comic book stores?
I totally agree with you on that one. I totally agree it'll open it up to the previously inaccessible people. That you're not going to get an argument from me on. I just think I think Marvel is going to jump on this next because it seems like those two companies can't do anything without the other one trying to copy them. No, I'm serious. Look at
I know. I've read a lot of lists of the parallel histories to the two. Anything you can do, I can do better mindset.
Right. And another reason I wanted to talk to you on this is, no, I don't know your exact age, but I'm 36.
I'm 23.
Okay, see, I've got quite a few more years on you. I remember buying this stuff. I was in high school when Liefeld and McFarlane started Image Comics. I literally grew up in that stupid phase. and I admit, no, I was not a speculator. I wasn't buying 5 copies to keep them and whatnot, but I did buy all those crappy Liefeld books and McFarlane books and all that stuff. I bought them all when they were new because we didn't know that they sucked. We didn't know Youngblood would suck. You had to buy it to find out Rob Liefeld doesn't know how to write or draw, or pace, or edit, or anything else. You know, oh, and I really got mad at you for missing a couple of jokes in your Youngblood 2 review.
Oh?
You missed all the eye patches switching sides from panel to panel.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have seen that.
Because I remember when I first bought that, I'm like, it's on her left eye, now it's on the right. Now the eye patch is gone, and now it's back to her left eye. What the hell's going on?
I think with that kind of thing is the art just starts to blur after a while. You don't notice the little details.
I know, but I was just kind of like, I kept waiting, and I'm like, Lewis, and the review's over, and I'm like, you totally missed that. But the main reason I wanted to talk to you was new comics versus old, like I said. I have not bought a Marvel book since the end of Civil War. I really started to get back into Marvel during Civil War. I thought they were doing that right, and then I read Civil War 7, and the ending got me so angry, I gave up on Marvel again. And I haven't bought DC since before Superman was the electric blue idiot. I'm not saying I haven't picked up some of these books. I looked at them, read some of them. It just, this new stuff doesn't appeal to me. I hate to sound like the crotchety old man, but I don't like what they've done to the characters I grew up with. To me,
which characters in particular are you referring to, and which things in particular would you say?
For Marvel, such as I doubt he's still wearing this, but that idiotic costume Spider-Man wore during Civil War with the big legs coming out the back.
Oh, the Iron Spider outfit? Yeah, he hasn't worn that in like 2-3 years now.
Okay, but then his revealing his identity to the public, don't even get...
That's been undone.
Okay, I was going to say, I haven't read Spider-Man in years, but don't even get me started on One More Day. I'm just as mad about that as you. I think that was just the stupidest thing in the world, and I'm not even a Spider-Man fan, and that pissed me off. I really don't like what they did to Moon Knight. Moon Knight was always one of my favorite characters, and I think the way he was portrayed in the early 80s when he was a backup character for the Hulk before he got his own book, amazing stories in that. And now...
I can't speak to that, unfortunately. I've never read any Moon Knight.
Okay, well, I would highly recommend it to any listeners and to you, Lewis. It's back when the Hulk had his magazine-sized comic called Rampaging Hulk, which later became the Hulk. Moon Knight was the backup feature. You can get the reprints in Moon Knight Special Edition 1, 2, and 3 from the mid-'80s. They reprint all the stories. And now, the character... I bought the first few issues of the new current series, and he's whiny. He kills people. He's all emo, all down on himself that he's not the superhero he used to be, and it's like, you emoed my character. What happened? How could this happen to me? Exactly. And sometimes, I think the last book I picked up just for the hell of it that I really enjoyed was Stormwatch Team Achilles. I think Team Achilles is nothing like a superhero book you've ever read before, and it doesn't have any continuity with the old Stormwatch other than the title. I highly recommend it. You can get all those in trades, by the way, Lewis. I recommend those highly, but they are very, very adult. It's what a government-sponsored team of all humans, there's one superhuman, but his power doesn't help him a whole lot, who it's their job to police the superhero community of the Image universe. And they hate superhumans, or SPBs, superpowered beings as they call them. They keep they beat the Authority multiple times by using real-world military tactics against the Authority. Because the guy that wrote it used to be a Green Beret, or so he claimed. He got fired for supposedly lying about his resume, so we don't know how much. But all the tactics are sound, and I highly recommend the book. And that's the last book I really picked up and enjoyed. And I know you seem to really...
The title, though... would you say you picked up in recent times, aside from Civil War, that you think totally are not interesting enough?
I would say
don't hold you in your interest aside from Moon Knight and Civil War.
I would say, to switch over to DC, I was really pumped for Identity Crisis. Or what's the one where Blue Beetle got killed at the beginning?
Infinite Crisis.
Infinite Crisis. Countdown to Infinite Crisis is an amazing book. And I've always been an old-school Blue Beetle fan back during the funny years when Geffen and Demitis were writing the book. And I was so happy to see Blue Beetle finally getting his due, and let's face it, getting a pretty heroic death, actually.
Yeah.
And so I was pumped, so I started buying all those books. Oh, I guess I was wrong. I have bought DC after that. I totally forgot about that. And they were horrible. Infinite Crisis was terrible.
Oh, I would argue against that. I really enjoyed Infinite Crisis myself.
Was the OMAC project before or after Infinite Crisis?
OMAC Crisis OMAC project before Infinite Crisis.